Hey there, everybody. Meryl Brandwine here, your Rebel Nutritionist. Wanted to pop on. Yes, I am at the beach, my happy place. We are doing a photo shoot this morning. So I figured it would be a great time to get on and just reintroduce myself to you. There's been some things on my mind that I have wanted to share. It is not easy to do it. It is not easy to be a little vulnerable, but I think what I have learned is that the more I can share some of me, it can help motivate some of you, because I know my story is your story, and I know the things that I feel, you feel. And there was a great passage that I read at the beginning of the month that was from the Rising Woman website, and it was titled, "Don't let a successful woman be cause for jealousy." And just because what you see on the outside may not be really what's going on the inside, or because she looks like she is all put together on the outside, don't think that she hasn't had some loss, that she hasn't struggled, that she hasn't had hardships. And so I felt like that was me. That was my story for the first half of my life. I have suffered from the not enough syndrome, and I think there's so many of you that have suffered from that. I got the message at a very young age that perhaps it was first, I wasn't thin enough. I remember being in ballet class, and I was heavier than most of the girls. I was chunky, and I didn't look the same in the cute little costume as some of my friends. And they got to stand in the front. I had to be put in the back. And somehow there was a message that translated. And that story perpetuated throughout my life. It was first, I wasn't thin enough. At one point I was told I was chubby. And again, the intention, it's always about what you perceive becomes your reality. So it wasn't meant with any ill will, I am sure. But somehow that shifted something in my mind, that I needed to be thinner to be better. And then it translated into I wasn't pretty enough. And so I would try and make the outside pretty because I wanted to make the inside feel better. And then it was you weren't smart enough. And so I was the overachiever because I had to prove that I was smart enough. And that has been a running theme. So throughout my life, and really until a few years ago, that was the theme. And I've always been the rebel, because someone would say to me, "No, you can't do this." And I'd be like, "Yeah, let me show you that I can." So that was the rebel in me my whole life. But it was the story that I told myself. I would work on getting validation from everybody else because I didn't trust myself enough that my decision was the right decision, because I had to be something else in order to be worthy. And so, and there is a tractor coming by right now, and it is going to get noisy. So hopefully we can deal with this, right? But we've got to go with the flow. So give me a second while this tractor passes, right? I always say, man plans and God laughs. There we go. But it does allow me to take a reflection back and say, wow, all of those years I worked so hard at making the outside look perfect, because if I made the outside look perfect, somehow that would resonate a little more on the inside. And really, it's so untrue. I have learned that I need to be good on the inside. And the work that I have done in the past few years has really allowed me to portray that. And I bring that message to my clients, because somehow we think that self-care is being selfish, that taking time for ourselves, especially as women, is not allowed. Somehow there's guilt associated with that. And so, and it is part of that, I am not enough syndrome. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I don't care if you are 5, I don't care if you are 85. I hear it all day long from clients. I hear it from people like you. I had a 71-year-old woman come in the other day, and she had lots of body stuff. She had autoimmune issues. And believe it or not, when we started to peel away the layers, we realized she suffers from the not enough syndrome as well. And so, and it started when she was young. And so it was the mixed messages. It was, for me, the mixed messages that I got was, go to school, get a degree, get letters after your name. Oh, but find someone who can take care of you, right? That was the story. That was the story that I was told and that I perceived to be true. And that was the story that I continued to live by. And it wasn't until I really dug deep and really did my own work that I realized that. And I remember very early on at one point, I had a therapist tell me, do you want to be just a tchotchke? Tchotchke is Yiddish for like a little nice thing on a shelf. Or do you want to really be who you are authentically meant to be? And I didn't, that didn't resonate at the time. Now it does, right? Now it totally does, because I don't need, I always want, right? We don't need necessarily outside validation to make ourselves worthy. And really, until I understood that, until I did the work, and I have done a lot of work. I have done therapy, I have done shadow work. You guys will have seen the video by now with Shari Coltoon, who is an amazing coach, and she has coached me for the past few years on really what we call swiping right on myself, right? Allowing myself to be the authentic version, allowing myself to not be perfect, or be perfect in my own perfect way. And that's what my necklace says. I am perfectly imperfect. And it's more to teach you and to send that message to you that until we change what goes on here, we will never feel it here, because we are connected. What the mind thinks, the body feels. I say this all the time, and I actually get chills when I say this, because this voice is the loudest voice that we have. And your story needs to resonate with you and nobody else. And it needs to be your story. I think for so long I lived by somebody else's story of what I thought I needed to be. And that's not the case. And so if there's one thing I can share with you, it is really about the work, and it is work. It doesn't have to be hard work, it just needs to be consistent. People say to me all the time, how do you do what you do? How do you look the way you look? And it's work, but now it's authentically for me. It used to be I would be in the gym. I tried every diet. When I tell you that I have tried every diet and I have been to every extreme of the weight disordered eating thing, I have. And I know you don't believe it, perhaps, but it's true. And so I know that trying to perfect the outside to make the inside feel better does not work. And I know that once you feel amazing on the inside, it reflects on the outside. And so I always had this vision that I wanted really thin legs. Like, that was when I was young. Maybe it came from that dance thing of not being thin enough. I wasn't a ballerina. I did not have a ballerina body. I always say now I have that, Ashkenazi thrifty gene. And the more I do my genomics and the more I understand my genetics, I know how to work around that and live my life to the potential that I know I can. But I was never going to have long, thin legs. I'm 5'4" at best, wasn't going to happen, but yet I focused on that. And until I got that, I wasn't going to stop. And it never happened. It was never going to happen. So I had to be okay with, okay, I love my muscles now. I could probably kick any 20-year-old's ass in the gym. And that's another piece, right? I'm very competitive, more competitive with myself than anything else. So there's lots of nuances to my story. And I do hope that I can share them with you in the future and that we can discuss some of this on the Rebel Nutrition podcast, because I have a lot of clients who want to share their story, and they're meaningful stories, and I think that they are motivating stories. So I really look forward to allowing you to get to know me better, but more importantly, to get to know me better because I know that I can help you. Because at the end of the day, we need to I always say straighten each other's crowns and not rip them off, right? There's a great meme that goes around about that. And my team that I work with every day, I work with the most amazing women, and I have surrounded myself with the most amazing people because it's a reflection of what I embody, and it's a reflection of what I know I can bring to the masses. And I've always been about the N of one, right? We are all individual. Ultimately, we have our own blueprint. But the fact is we function so much better together than we do as individuals, I think especially as women. And if you go back to some of the indigenous tribes, the Indians and I mean the Native Americans, where they celebrated each other, we need to do more of that. We need to celebrate each other, especially in the times that we are facing now, especially with our young girls who get a message from social media. And look, I remember I got these messages and those were from magazines, and I wanted to be like those people and could never. It was something that was just not achievable, nor was it realistic. Yet now we look at these influencers, and I have my daughter saying, I want to be like an influencer, yet what are they influencing? So there's lots of conversation that we can have, and I hope to bring that to you. And I want you to share your stories with us, with me, and let us know. Let me know how this resonates, if it makes sense, and how I and my team, our Rebel Squad, can help you be the best version of yourself. Because I can tell you, I spent the first half of my life trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and I am determined to spend the second half not doing that. I feel like I have a new lease on life, that this is just the beginning. Forget about the next chapter. This is the beginning of the next book for me, and I am excited to take you on this journey. Be well, have a great day, and till next time.